everybody. Sunday, overcast, quiet, just the way I like it. Everybody in my household is quiet, doing their own thing. So if I did not have a blocked nose, everything would have been just fine. But spring has sprung, so what was I expecting? Sneezing, coughing, watery eyes for a good third of the day. Oh well, it too shall pass. I do not know where to start on this because I know who I am up against. A very small-minded, jealous, almost hateful gossip and fame-monger. Anyway, I'll do my best to bring you what I know in the most neutral way possible, and it is truly up to you how you take it and what you choose to believe. I first want to talk about Charlotte Griffith, the editor-at-large for the Mail on Sunday. Charlotte is 39 years old. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Leeds in political science. She started as a journalist at the Mail on Sunday in June 2008, and she is indeed still with them. I believe she's married and that she has children. Now, when I heard for the first time someone, now you know who, so I'm not going to mention names at all, but when I heard for the first time someone say that she is the new Omid Scobie, I was indeed very surprised. Because the truth is that Charlotte has never been very complimentary about Harry and Meghan, particularly not about Meghan. She has criticized Meghan often. If you go Google Charlotte Griffith, you will find a number of YouTube shorts in which she criticizes Harry and Meghan. I do, however, find her rather soft-spoken, fairly decent, no rants or swearing, very neutral and balanced, and I read the article which started this new Omid rant very differently from how it is being portrayed. Now, it is my belief and information that Charlotte Griffith has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. If there's anything coming from that side, it is 90% of the time coming to her like it gets to anyone else, through a press release by their PR or media manager. Charlotte has been a journalist for more than 17 years. So obviously she has contacts, but overall she has far more contacts in Britain than in the United States because she lives and works in London. I'll leave a number of links in the description box for shorts featuring Charlotte, so please go and watch it, and if you still think she is Camp Meghan and Harry, then you're welcome to come back and tell me. At least I bring receipts to back up my opinion. But there's, however, another side of this entire saga, and in a way, it is also my opinion that Charlotte and a number of other journalists, actually many of them, are, number one, biased in their reporting, number two, do not do their due diligence anymore, do they really do true investigative journalism, and number three, I also find that there's a lack of conscience. It does not seem to bother them or their editors when they publish something which they know is a lie or mere PR spin. I do not always agree with Richard Eden, but I do admire the fact that he was honest in admitting that there is a media drive against Prince William and Catherine, and that he refuses to be part of it. Now, I do not wish to sound like another YouTuber, but luckily and unfortunately, I was likely the first to mention that there appeared to be media action against William. And again, if you want receipts, go back to older videos of mine, and you will see what I said had now indeed been proven true. And now others, like Richard Eden, is actually confirming it. Anyway, I've been saying something else for a couple of months now, and look, I agree that Harry and Meghan are stupid, that they are liars, and that they leak stories to the media for attention, clout, and obviously money. 100%. We all know it. It is absolutely undeniable. But I can also 100% tell you, promise you, guarantee you, that Buckingham Palace's media centre also leaks true and untrue stories to the media along with their normal event reporting on a daily basis. I can also truthfully tell you that the media people for Charles and often, not always, but regularly, play games using the media. I do not know how to convince you, but I can show you this. I really want you guys to put your thinking caps on, because I am rather limited as to what I can say out loud on YouTube. Again, it's not about YouTube, but I do not have the time or money to fight a lawsuit. But I know you guys are absolutely beyond sharp, and you can think for yourselves. So here goes. Who was the first to say that Harry was treated rather coldly and formally like any other guest by Charles at Clarence House? And then, shortly after, the media followed up with the same story, some even saying that Camilla was there all the time. No, that is false. She wasn't. Do you think Camilla discovered a potion which made her invisible? Because Charles flew in from Scotland, did an investiture, went to Clarence House, saw Harry, and again left. Allegedly, he had 2 more appointments after his visit with Harry. One was allegedly to receive some treatment for his illness, and I have no clue what the other appointment was about. But what I can tell you is that he did not return to Clarence House that night, nor did he fly back to Scotland that night. Anyway, I digress. Again. Anyway, the story was put out that the meeting between Harry and Charles was rather formal and stiff, blah, blah, blah. Now, guess who put out that specific story? Who leaked it to the paper and YouTubers? Not Harry and Meghan. I promise you. Certainly not. I mean, get that grey matter going and think, friends. Think. No, Harry and Meghan wouldn't, because they want the world to think that they are again on the king's good side, that they are on the inside of the royal circle again. Okay? We know they want that, because they are fairly desperate. They need that bit of spark, that bit of sunshine that being a royal brings. They need it desperately. Okay? So why would they have leaked that kind of story? No, they didn't, and they wouldn't. Am I making sense so far? Okay, so who then leaked that specific story? Buckingham Palace, likely under the auspices of Torbin Andre and likely with the input and under the instruction, or at least his permission, and that being that of King Charles. I have it from the best of the best, most truthful source that specific article came with compliments from Buckingham Palace. Then I was also told why, and the answer is twofold. Number one, to counteract the backlash Charles received for seeing Harry. And number two, it was a trap for Harry, and he stepped right into it, the poor idiot. They knew that Harry would react to that article and then blab about the rest of the visit. And he did. The poor, stupid little boy. And, Harry was partially right. It was the men in grey suits who tried to ruin the familial peace effort. But Harry is incapable of thinking further than his nose is long. Who does he think these men are working for? Surely not his father, surely not his cancer-stricken plant and turkey-talking old man. But yes, indeed, they work for the man who calls himself King Charles, a man who professes to love his sons, but will sell them out to the highest bidder. Actually, he will stab anyone in the back if he can benefit from it. And he has, in the past, his parents, his wives, both of them, family, staff, and friends. Anyway, let me stop myself as I get increasingly angry. They say there's no one as blind as those who do not want to see. So until people are cured from their blindness, I will probably be getting a bit of backlash. But I don't think it's going to be much longer. And then all blindness will be lifted. Okay, so when exactly did this negative press campaign against William and Catherine start? I will tell you. Beginning of 2023, or rather soon after Charles's coronation, to be exact. So let me tell you who is managing the campaign, allegedly for legal reasons. Okay? Torbin Andre, Director of Communications for the royal household. So please follow this carefully, and you may pick something up which no one has yet spoken about or noticed. So listen carefully. Torbin Andre has a BA in English Literature from the University of Bristol. He worked for the Express newspaper for nearly 4.5 years, then for the Sunday Times for 2 years. Then he worked for the Daily Mail for 14 years in different roles, and then as deputy editor for the Mail on Sunday for 2 years, and finally as deputy editor for the Daily Mail for 4 years. And then, wham bam, his newspaper career ended. After 27 years in newspapers, he ended it overnight. Why? Anyway, here is the important part. Did you know that he worked as communications secretary in the household of their Royal Highnesses the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. Yes, he was appointed as Communications Secretary days before the Queen passed. Once the Queen passed away, Charles sacked some of the Queen's very competent staff and some of his own competent and staff with a lot of experience. And he appointed Torbin Andre head of communications and spokesperson for their Majesties the King and Queen. Okay. Listen up, folks. Did you know that Torbin Andre was one of the male editors who published columns critical of Catherine, or Kate Middleton, as he still calls her, just not to her face? It was the Daily Mail columnist Amanda Platel who coined the phrase "Waity Katie" while working under Andre at Female, where he was editor at the time. Now that is a part of the Daily Mail. It's like a female-orientated insert, and he was editor of that for about 2 years, part of the Daily Mail. In any case, Platon, under Andre, also wrote a column in which he called Catherine a grasping woman. Under Andre's tenure as editor of Female, many negative articles about William and Catherine were published, and later also as deputy editor of the Daily Mail. And the negativity was in particular directed at Catherine, and Catherine was indeed severely bullied. From calling her upwardly mobile, a social climber, to discussing her weight. They pulled her apart, said things like she was no trendsetter, her eyebrows were trashy, blah, blah, blah. It just went on and on and on. And the crux of the matter all approved and published by Andre. It is said that the appointment of Torbin Andre influenced relations between Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace negatively, and that there's no trust between William and Catherine's communications secretary and that of the King's communications, head of communications. None. Guess who's not checking his head of communications and maybe reprimanding him once or twice? Guess who does not care? Okay, guys, I am going to continue this later or tomorrow, but before I go, I need to correct or add something to a previous video I made a few days ago. The one in which I read a message stating that Charles and Camilla's marriage is currently a bit of a sham. I had one fairly seriously toned message, and it read, "Feel some empathy for Queen Camilla. One word to describe her situation: verbal abuse." That's it. Not signed, no name. I'm not going to show you the handle, but I went and checked, and he or she has no posts. Okay, guys, I shall see you tomorrow if I can. Otherwise, on Wednesday. I'm going to put some work in tonight, and maybe I will end up having time tomorrow. But I'll see. I have some orders to fill. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow. But take care and stay safe. Bye.